Welcome to the MICK Show, where I give you a laid-back look at the lives and businesses of today's most well-respected creatives. You'll learn key life lessons from culture's most prominent personalities, musicians, actors, athletes, and CEOs. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the show. This is the MICK Show. All right, we're back. So happy to be here with Rotimi. What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
This is going to be fun because what we do on this show is we talk to people who they excel at all aspects of their life, right? We've talked to everybody from actors to sports stars to comic book creators to authors to, all sorts of people. But what I like about your story is that you truly excel in two different arenas right now.
Yeah.
At the exact same time.
Yeah.
I want to get into that, but I have a lot of questions on how you got to be so good at two different things without sacrificing the other, because I think we live in a world where everybody's a multi-hyphenate, or we say we're a multi-hyphenate,
100%.
even if we're not, and you're living it and excelling at both of them. And I think it's fascinating because like in hip hop, right? Like we always assume people play characters.
Yeah.
Every rapper's music became a character, like an alter ego of their real life. But in your case, it's more like your music is the real life and your alter ego, your character are the things that people knew you from. So whereas rappers got crucified for like, oh, you didn't really shoot 10 dudes and whatever, like people think you really did that shit.
Right. And being a part of something like Power, man, that shifts the culture. It was amazing. And it made me work harder as a musician to prove that like I'm supposed to be here. It made me it put the fire underneath me, because to be an actor, if people just meet you as an actor, then they're kind of like, oh, there's no possible way he could be good at something else. So it made me like dedicate so much of my time and my focus on making sure the music was as good as it possibly could be.
Does it make you give pause now to all the rappers that we listened to growing up that became actors and we were like, oh, they're taking away jobs from the actors? Like, is it because you're kind of...
Nah, for me, I think when you're creative, you're creative. In terms of hip hop, like there's a couple that really transcend. Like, Common is consistently working. I think my favorite actor who's a rapper, I think Mos Def is slept on.
He's like an amazing actor that people don't consider.
He's amazing.
He looks like a classically trained actor.
Yes, he's incredible. His choices, everything. So me being an R&B singer, me being, a musician in that realm, it's always who I've been. I respect it. I never like putting boxes on anybody. So when you see a Jamie Foxx have a hit record with, blame it on it, and then have Ray come out around the same time, like that is like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do, bro. Let's maximize the opportunity. So you take that blueprint, and I added that to my life and said, you know what, I want to have one of the biggest records going in the world and be on the number one show. And we're living it.
I love it. How much of that do you credit with your education?
Ooh, I think I even dated back to before education, man. I think that plays a part, and I'll get to it. But I think just the drive of being a first generation Nigerian. My mom and my dad, they were big in education, but they took the education blueprint and said, as hard as you work is as far as you'll go. And that's kind of what it was for me growing up. My mom had me playing the violin, had me playing piano, had me singing in one of the best choirs, the New Jersey Children's Choir. Only the top 15 in the state get to make it, so things like that. And also the discipline of education, and so all of that, it made me so multifaceted, and I had to give my best in everything because their blueprint was, Rotimi, if you're going to do it, you have to do it well, and that was my thing that I grew up with. And then going to a really good school, like an Ivy League school where I went to Northwestern, that was tough. That showed me how much I really wanted this to be my life, because I had a song come out when 2009, my sophomore year. I had a song come out that a lot of college girls really liked. So it had me traveling, but then being a student, then going to the nightlife, little pub, open mic performances, trying to win those, build your name in the city. So all of those things kind of just added to like the drive and like always doing multiple things at one time. So everything was always music and just the arts first.
I like that. When I was in school, I had a marketing degree, and then I got a master's in business. And I wanted to do communication, but I did a lot of DJ and shit. So I kind of felt like I was getting a real life communication degree. But I always felt like I had an alter ego.
Yeah.
Because it was from 9 to 5, I was in all these classes that ultimately did nothing for me. These calculus classes and all this world studies and all of that stuff. And Now you just look it up on your phone. You don't even need to know it. But
no, yeah, exactly.
But then from like 5 to 9, meaning, as you know, from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m., it was like the other ego. I was like in the clubs every night DJing, and I was on the radio, but nobody knew I was really doing that shit like in my classes. So like I was like this really corny dude who sat in the back in economics class, but like they were listening to me on the radio at night or at the parties that they had no idea. And I just thought that duality of trying to function in two universes at the same time, as you become an adult and as you become a man, it enables you to really thrive.
It does.
Especially when you're somebody like yourself, who's now like, you went from having an alternate life in school to like having literally two alternate lives that come together. You could truly function in different universes at the exact same time.
Yeah. And and when you get that practice early, like for you saying, like while you're in school and you're doing it, it becomes your identity. And that's such an age where like you're growing and figuring out who you are as a man. Except for me, I went to college at 17. So from 17 to 21, I was trying to figure it out and found my sweet spot. And it was, okay, do your homework. All right, cool. You got a little show tonight. Cool. All right, after that, you got to go meet with the DJ to play the record. Cool. Now, tomorrow, we're going to take the train to go to the radio station. So it was always that hustle. Because if I don't do it, somebody else is going to do it, and
totally.
I used to sneak into the music department's state-of-the-art $1 million studio at like 11:30 at night and record my mixtape and at that time until 4 a.m. And then I got a midterm at 8:30, so it was that drive that started me, man. And I don't regret it at all.
Your first mixtape was called The Resume.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that's amazing because I'm assuming that like that was kind of like I just finished college. I got to go get a real job. Well, fuck it. This is my real job.
This is my real job. Yeah, yeah. And even just from the art of it, sitting in a waiting room where everybody else is the same. And I'm the only one kind of sitting up forward. And again, if you go to Northwestern, man, you're supposed to get a $150,000 job being a journalist or a businessman or a lawyer or a doctor. And I was like, nah, man, I'm going to do it my way and use my music, these 12 records or however many it was on it. It was these records. And this is why I need this job. This is why I'm in this game. And it was clever and people really, really took to it.
How supportive were your parents of this non-traditional path for you?
Well, in the African culture, normally, man, 98% of them are all about doing something that can guarantee money. So being a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, a dentist, those are the 4 things that you definitely need. That's the Nigerian way. So for me, my mom always knew that I was going to do music because she had a dream when I was in her womb. And Bob Marley had come to her and had said, yo, your son is going to finish my legacy. So her being a spiritual woman, she was like, oh, okay, so he's either going to be an artist or I think maybe a lawyer. And so when I came out, I'm 2 years old, I'm singing in the shower and she's just like, whoa, what is that? She's like, okay, this is what I have to support him with. So I was very, very fortunate early because she saw the gift, she saw the talent, and she nurtured it, man. She had me wedding singing when I was a Nigerian wedding singer at 4 years old, and so
wow.
For about a good 2-3 years, man, that's how I wasn't making money. She was keeping the money, but that's how we were bringing money in, is just singing at weddings. And then she said, like, okay, let's get you on the piano. So it was always the goal. So when I graduated, my dad's one wish was, if you graduate from Northwestern, I'll give you a year free of rent just so you can focus on the music.
Oh, wow.
So it was love from day one. And they always knew I was going to do something. So I ended up booking my first acting job within that year, simultaneously at the same time talking to Atlantic Records and being the biggest artist at the time. It was me, Jeremiah, and Chance was buzzing a little bit at that time. So we were the ones that was kind of like, okay, who's going to get the deal first? So in that year, man, it was just so much happening. And then I ended up 3 months after graduating booking Boss, the TV show.
Is it interesting with all the Chicago connections with those artists too?
Yeah. Me and Jeremiah, we were doing the nightlife partying, but also like the open mics. And he had Birthday Sex come out and just was out of here, because he went to Columbia. Yeah, he went to Columbia when I went to Northwestern.
Okay, interesting. This is going to be a non-linear series of questions, but like, cool. How much did growing up in Jersey, and I assume probably within close proximity to the city too, right?
Yeah.
Inspire you because, like, for example, you sampled the Fugees.
Yeah.
Well, not the actual Fugees, but whatever the original thing was, like from the 80s. But, was that like a homage in a way, or?
It's the biggest homage. Let me tell you why, bro. And this story is crazy. It's on its own. So Lauryn Hill actually went to my high school.
Oh, Ms. Lauryn Hill. We gotta put the Ms.
Indeed.
Because they might cut this whole shit might just disappear. The audio gonna cut off.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be a wrap.
Yeah, so she obviously 10 years older than me or so, but like she went to the same middle school, elementary school, and high school as me. So I followed her whole thing. So everywhere I went, the teachers were like, man, the school hasn't been this excited since Lauryn was here about somebody else doing music like this. Because we were traveling in high school, like shutting down community college shows and all that stuff and other high school talent shows. So they were excited since her. And I remember, man, like when her Hall of Fame speech when I was in high school, and she was just saying, it's about hard work and all this. And I remember telling my boy, I was like, listen, bro, I'm going to be the next Hall of Famer that comes out of here. So when she took off and did that, her music is resonating from South Orange, New Jersey, Mayport, New Jersey. And we're just like happy, like that's the one of ours. So for me, when I heard that sample, it was like, oh, for this record to be my biggest song right now, it's only right that it's from a Lauryn Hill, sample and a Fuji sample. So in my bed, the song that I have featuring Wale out right now is definitely a homage to her.
I love that. I could really, just coming from a DJ perspective, because that's what I do. Like, your music has such it's so global.
Thank you, bro.
It's not just music for one culture, one society. It's music literally for an international audience that still sounds distinctively like our shit.
Yeah.
And I think a lot about how Wyclef did that back in that era.
Exactly.
Have you ever worked with him or collaborated with him?
No, I haven't.
That would be fantastic.
That's a goal, man. But I haven't. And, I think it hit home when I saw him at Essence Fest last year. And he was like, man, I'm such a fan of your work, man. Like, you're basically the bridge from between America and Africa. We don't have that. Usually people are from like the Burna Boys, are living in Nigeria and Africa. And we don't have an American artist who has African roots, who's making it cool and like that. So hearing it from him, it was just like, wow, man, like, yo, bro, you're really doing something that the greats are saying, they're fans of, And so for us to use his sample, well, not his sample, but a record that he also sampled, it only made sense, man, for sure.
Okay, so let's talk about, obviously, if we're talking about the bridge between Africa and America, let's talk about Coming to America.
Yeah, good job. That was nice, bro. That was really nice.
Yeah, man. I'm putting my non-use degrees to work with this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, not just one of my favorite movies of all time, but I think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. It's a movie that when it comes on TV, you don't care how many times you see that shit, because it's just like, I don't ever want to see another episode of Friends. I don't ever want to see another Law and Order. Yeah. But when you see Coming to America on, you kind of will stop what you're doing. Or I'll grab my son. My son's 5, and I'm like, yo, watch this shit.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Just watch this shit. Trust me.
Right.
Because we're going to watch this at least every year.
Yeah.
And at some point, maybe during the holidays, and you're going to get something new out of it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that they're redoing it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. So for me, bro, being a part of something so legendary, is the most anticipated sequel in movie history, and it's been the largest gap, 30 years since they did the original one. So for me, especially my roots actually being Nigerian, being a Nigerian American and first generation, to be a part of one of the biggest comedy movies of all time, if not the greatest.
Let's say it. It is. It's the greatest. Let's claim it.
It's the greatest. And honestly, to be a part of a sequel that's just as funny, and just new age. And now having a role where I'm in scenes with Eddie Murphy and in scenes with Arsenio Hall, like that was a moment for me, man. And being on set and just learning how to be a professional. Like Wesley Snipes is one of them. He's also in the movie this time. And he's one of the most gifted actors I've ever seen, and with my 2 eyes up close. But also his humility, man, was just so amazing to watch. So like taking those gems and them saying, okay, let's usher in the new school of talent with me and Michael Blackson and Tiana Taylor and all these people that like are the next generation. It was a beautiful thing, man. Even though Michael Blackson is older, he's not new school, but he's relevant now. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing some music in it as well?
So no, not this time. We're actually trying to work on getting it, my song Love Riddim, for the trailer music. So we're working on that now. But
ooh, that would be amazing. I mean, I don't know if you need more than fucking 31 million spins, bro, on Spotify. Like, I think you're good.
Yeah.
I mean, you could easily get to like 200 million with that. That'd be like
crazy, man. That's the goal, man. And
Eddie Murphy on the remix.
Hell no. Nah. My girl wants to party all the time. Well, we don't need that one.
Yeah, you don't need an Afrobeat remix of that would be amazing. Or not. Let's never hear that. One day I'm going to be drunk at the end of one of my parties. I'm going to try to mix those together.
Please don't do that.
Well, we'll see how that goes. It depends on when I'm drinking.
Yeah, right.
When is that coming out?
So March next year. Amazon Prime just bought it. So tune in for Coming to America 2. Your boy's in it. It's going to be a really, really funny movie.
Dope. God willing, we'll be able to go to theaters and see it too.
For sure.
Which would be really amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about the new song that's coming out.
Yeah, let's do it, bro.
Love is a common theme in a lot of your songs.
Yeah. It's who I am and what I represent, man. And it's also a promise to what my mom said, Bob Marley, his whole message was spread love, and he did it in a cool way that the records are timeless, but it's all about love. And I feel like with this new record, Love Somebody, it's based around love. It's based on the core essence of what it means and how simple it is, really. If you allow yourself to feel, if you allow yourself to just not question anything, not sabotage anything, it's one of those records that you will hear, like how Bob Marley has, don't worry about a thing. He has that. I feel like when you hear, love somebody, when you hear the record, you'll be like, oh man, this is a timeless song. You can play it at weddings. You could play it in the club. You could play it wherever. And it's just an uplifting record, man. And I'm so excited about it.
The video is dope too.
Yeah, thanks, bro. The video is a special guest, my beautiful, beautiful woman, Vanessa. And we just wanted to make it where it's this theme of Adam and Eve and what happened with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden and how simple it could have been if there was no apple, And so that's kind of when you see the video, you'll understand it. But if you listen to Love Somebody right now, man, I guarantee it'll make your day 10 times better.
That will get you a takeaway quote from this interview. Is there any people musically that you would love to collaborate with that you haven't had a chance with yet?
I mean, you definitely go with the cheat code. You definitely go with Drake. I think for me, a lot of people back home would love me and Miss Lauryn Hill to do a record together. I really like Khalid. I think he's dope. I think he's really special.
Yeah.
Very simple, which is timeless.
Yeah. See, simple gets a bad rap. Simple can be timeless. People misconstrue simple as
basic.
Yeah. And to me, simple to me is just stripped down and timeless. I would have rather watched any artist perform on like MTV Unplugged or VH1 Storytellers, any day than to watch some live stadium show.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, obviously, you hope you could be dope with both, right? But 100%. Like, you could hide a lot of shit. You can hide a lot of shit with $1 billion production.
Absolutely.
But when it's just you and a mic and a guitar, you can't hide shit.
You can't hide, yo. And that's what I take my pride in. That's why I even did an acoustic project during this time. Unplugged Sessions is my acoustic project right now. Well, that we did in the beginning of COVID because we were just like, yo, let's just make something dope and just strip down that people could just listen to and not try to do anything. Just clean the house, work on whatever they're doing, and it's just in the background. And that's why we did that, man, because I want to prove and show, not even to anybody, just to myself that like I'm one of the greatest talents to ever do this. That is the goal for the rest of my life, to prove to myself that I am that.
For kids growing up today who want to be multi-hyphenate, like we talked about before, or want to like figure out how to like use creativity as an actual tool and an asset for them versus like being told it's a liability to providing for your family, getting a career, making your parents happy. Like, what advice would you give them?
Man, I think that I would tell them to do everything that they feel. It starts with a feeling in your spirit, right? Like you have to know, like, I love what I do. I love singing. I love rapping. I love acting. I love painting. You have to love whatever it is you do. Because if you force yourself to think that like, I need to do X, Y, Z, and you even just like the second thing will never go anywhere. If you like DJing, it's like, I like it. If something that comes up that night that you want to do more, you're going to go do that more thing because you know you can always get back to DJing. But if you love it, you're like, nah,
right.
I love what I'm doing. So it starts with that. Then also you got to build a really good team around you. You know, you need a team that believes in you just as much or even more. You have to definitely, if you're spiritual, you got to spend time with whoever you pray to. That will help separate, you know, in my experience, that'll help separate, keep a lot of the demonic energy that's in this industry away, you know? And so 4 things, love what you do, spend time with it, put your 10,000 hours in, get a great team and spirituality, you know, I think you'll be straight.
I want to, as we get close to wrapping up here, ask you a question that you probably don't get a lot in interviews. Some like hip hop bars, lyrical shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I feel like we don't talk about that enough in like mainstream media.
Yeah.
You're such a intelligent human. So when you're processing music, like you're hearing it on different levels.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite lyricists of all time?
All time, I'll start with, it's a wild card, but I'll start with Jadakiss. Being an East Coast boy, you know, like being in Jersey and, you know, when you buying CDs, you used to walk home from middle school, go to the record shop and buy the CD. I used to get excited for Jada. I think Fabulous is super underrated.
Super underrated.
Grew up on Ludacris, you know, and then today, J. Cole. I think J. Cole at Joyner Lucas is a beast. Oh, my God.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's incredible. I think he's my favorite artist. And it's so funny, like me and my girl were listening to his album in the car while my boy was driving, and we were just like, every conversation we'll talk over whatever's playing, but this is the time we were just quiet, like, did you hear that? Damn, okay. You know, and so I think Joyner for sure is lit. So that's probably somebody else I definitely want to work with too, Joyner for sure.
Yo, you know who surprised me like that? I didn't realize he was that nice. Russ.
Yeah, I keep hearing that. He
put out this 5-song like EP. It's called Chomp, I think.
Okay.
He got a song with Ab-Soul.
Okay.
Incredible. And they remade the BET Rap City, the booth. They remade the booth with the black light in the toilet. They got Big Tigger to be like in the video.
That's hard.
It's incredible. And I didn't realize he had songs with like Black Thought. He got songs with like all these people. And I'm like, I had no idea that like the level of his shit. Because I like his journey because it not reminds me of yours, but like people are taking their own paths now. Yeah. You don't have to like do I camped outside of the label for 3 weeks with my demo. Or like, you know, I had to suck somebody off to like get this to happen and all that shit. That like, you don't have to do that.
You don't have to do it, man.
You do it your own way and inspire all these other people to just do this stuff their way. And I love that, man.
Thank you, bro. Yeah. I like Russ's story too, because I know he was doing the independent thing. I'm still independent with signed to Empire, but independent. But like, I love the fact that he even gave the blueprint out. Like, he was like, yo, I put out a song a week. And you just start seeing the money just generate to the point where I'm making $100,000 a week off of what I put out. So,
but he wrote a book about it too. He put a book out about that whole process.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's dope, man.
What's as we wrap here? What obviously besides the single that's dropping right now, anything else coming up for the rest of the year musically that we can look forward to?
So musically, we're gonna focus on "Love Somebody." I guarantee. Please go stream that now. When you hear it, I guarantee you understand what we're talking about. "Love Somebody," and then on the acting side, I just signed on to do 2 movies. I don't know if I can talk about it yet, but I just signed on to do 2 movies. So
nice.
I'm excited about that. We start filming in the next week or 2. So yeah, man, just trying to stay busy.
Amazing. Cool. Yo, thank you so much for finding time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Best of luck to everything you're doing. And we can't wait to hear the song. Well, I mean, I've heard the song, but can't wait for everybody to hear the song.
Yes, sir.
Can't wait to see all the movies, especially Coming to America and everything else.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, we appreciate it. This is The MICK Show.
Yes, sir.
And that was it for another episode of The MICK Show. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We sincerely appreciate it. Please, please, please do us a favor, wherever it is that you listen to your favorite podcast. Please, please subscribe to The MICK Show, like The MICK Show, write a review for The MICK Show, leave a star rating for The MICK Show. Whatever you can do helps. 5 stars would be amazing. 4 stars would be cool. 4.5. I was never an A+ student in school. I was like that B+ guy. So anything in that range, more than grateful for. Also, make sure you follow on social, Instagram @MICK, Twitter @IamMick. Let me know who you want to see on a future episode of The MICK Show so we could try to get them on for you. Again, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we will see you back here next week.